Economic Development Corporation will meet in a regular board meeting in the Gun Barrel City Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, 75156 on Tuesday, October 10th, 2017 at 5 p.m. Would everyone rise for the invocation? Lord, as always, keep your guiding vision and healing hands on the shoulders of our armed forces and first responders. And please help this board in its goal to help this city and its citizens to prosper without letting personal agendas and petty objections stand in its way. Amen. Amen. Pledge of allegiance. Roll call from my left, please.
Osborne here.
Williams here.
Coleman here.
Ray here.
Taylor here. Butler here.
Whitten here.
Full forum and a quorum. Citizens' presentations. This item provides the opportunity for citizens to address the EDC Board of Directors on any matter, whether or not it's posted on the agenda. However, in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.041, the EDC Board of Directors cannot discuss, deliberate, or take action on matters not listed on the agenda. At this time, the Board will receive citizens' comments and, if necessary, may refer the matter to EDC staff for research, resolution, or referral to the EDC Board on a future agenda. Dawn, do we have anybody that signed up? No. Would anybody like to speak to the Board? Ron Wyrick. Yeah, I'm afraid you do, Ronnie. Foot and all, but we have to be able to hear you.
Okay, we appreciate the question. There are two numbers in there. The sale is for $150K, and they have requested a loan for the development of the property for $200K. So there are two numbers in there. Okay, I appreciate it, and we'll cover it in the public hearing. Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak to the Board? Yes, sir. Mr. Rhodes, I don't mean to interrupt you, but could you turn that microphone towards you a little bit? Just so that's better. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Tour of the property, we began discussing issues such as the size of the unit,
Sir, I'm sorry, but you have 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Excuse me, Mr. President, but I think we're hearing what Mr. Rhodes intended for the public hearing. So would you mind letting him just finish and calling this part of the public hearing?
I don't, as long as the rest of the board doesn't.
No problem.
Does anybody have an objection?
No.
Proceed, Mr. Rhodes. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Sure.
This normally is limited to 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to address the board at this time? Before we move on to the regular agenda, I have a presentation that I would like to make to Stephen Schiff. We as a board would like to recognize Stephen Schiff for his tremendous service to the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation. During his tenure as a board member and president, the EDC accomplished many great things. All that served with him would agree that he spent an inordinate amount of time seeing to his duties as president. We're very thankful for his service, and it will be indelibly marked in the history of the GBC EDC. Thank you, Stephen, and we have a plaque for you. At this time, I'd like to make a statement once again before we start the regular agenda. And this statement is from myself and myself alone. With this board welcoming new members and having newly elected officers, I thought it might be helpful for our citizens to hear some new objectives from our EDC board. I'm not very fond of statements or diatribe for the sake of speaking, but these goals should be advantageous for all involved. You will notice that on our agenda, we are going to attempt to dissolve all subcommittees. This is being done to foster a sense of congruency among our board. Everyone at this dais will have the same voice and the same votes as the others. All committees from here forward will consist of the entire board. And furthermore, any and all citizens are welcome to attend. I'm not saying that this board will always see eye to eye on all issues, but I hope that we can act as a united body. I hope that we can show respect to all that we come into contact with. I intend to keep executive sessions to a minimum as to foster the most transparent EDC that we can. We can't eliminate all executive sessions, but we'll do our best. We have an opportunity to do some things to benefit this city in a very meaningful way, and to be as forthright as possible and open as possible with the people of this town will help us do that. I simply would ask this board to make a commitment within themselves to use common sense, respect the position to which they have been appointed, and to respect any opinions that are brought to them. If this is done, we can all enjoy ourselves while bringing great projects to the city of Gumboro. Thank you. At this point, we will proceed with the normal agenda. Item number 1, discuss and/or take action to approve the EDC meeting minutes of September 5th, September 12th, and September 20th, 2017. I'd entertain a motion.
Do we take action to approve the EDC minutes of September 5th, September 12th, and 27th?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Vote from my left.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Witten, yes.
Unanimous consent. Item 2, discuss and/or take action to approve the September 2017 GBC EDC month-end financial report.
Mr. President, the reports are not in our packet today because it's the year-end close, and it's taking us a little extra time to get the financial reports completed. So next month we'll have the closing report and the report for next month.
Okay.
So if we could just move on to the next agenda item.
Yeah, I need a motion to table item number 2.
Okay. I move we table the financial reports for September of 2017.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Voting from my left, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Witten, yes.
Item number 2 is tabled. Item number 3, discuss and undertake action to approve a sponsorship to Maybank ISD for their Murder Mystery Dinner fundraiser on October 28, 2017, not to exceed $1,000. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve a sponsorship for Maybank ISD for the Murder Mystery Dinner fundraiser on October 28, 2017, not to exceed $1,000.
Second.
Discussion on this item. I do have something that I'd like to say. There are several levels of sponsorship for this particular event, and I sincerely agree that we should aid and assist our school district at any point. My suggestion would be, and certainly we're all going to vote on it, they have a gold, silver, and a bronze, and I'd like to recommend that maybe we consider the bronze, which is 2 reserved tickets, recognition on their website, and a quarter-page ad. That being, does anybody have any other discussion on that?
Is that the 1,000?
I'm sorry?
The bronze is 1,000?
No, I'm sorry. The bronze is 300.
I'm good.
Fine with it.
I'll amend.
Then I'm going to make an amended motion if I could. I'd like to make a motion to approve a sponsorship to the Maybank ISD for their Murder Mystery Dinner fundraiser on October 28, 2017 in the amount of $300.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Vote from my left, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Butler, yes. Sorry.
All right.
Butler, yes.
Witten, yes.
Okay. Item number 4, discuss and take action to award the bid for a certified public accountant to perform annual audits on all EDC accounts for the next 3 fiscal years.
I move we award the contract to Misty Culpepper for the next 3 years for our audit.
I will second. At this point, there is discussion, and being a seated council member, I actually was privy to some information about the bids that were put forth from different accounting agencies. That being said, the accounting agency that Holland suggested was the only one that submitted, according to the city staff, was the only one that recorded references, and they were all from relatively small towns like ours, impeccable references. Also, I'd like to add that I think that the EDC using the same accountant as the city just makes sense, in that if there were ever anything to come up between the two, we wouldn't have two accounting firms having to get up to speed on it.
Right. And it saves duplication of effort.
Exactly. Is there any more discussion from the board? We have a motion to accept, I'm sorry, it's Misty Culpepper.
Years 2 and 3. We got a 10% increase in years 2 and 3,
Yes.
which seems pretty strong.
The reason being is that she actually had originally quoted 5,500. That put her on the higher end of the scale for the city and the EDC. So she agreed to give us a discount for year 1 and 2, and then slide into her normal fee scale. And again, it's pretty much right in the middle as it stands. And I just think it makes sense to have the same accountant as the city does.
Oh, it does, no question.
Legitimate point. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second to accept Misty Culpepper's CPA agreement for 3 years. Votes from my left, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Witten, yes.
Item number 5, discuss or take action to disband the following committees: Strategic Planning Committee, Big Chief Landing Committee, and the Event Planning Committee. I'm going to make a motion, hope for a second, and I'm going to let Holland speak about this for a second. I make a motion to disband the aforementioned committees, and that's it. Looking for a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. It's time for discussion. Holland, would you like to explain this a little bit?
Sure. In the first place, because of the transition to a new board, it makes sense to disband all these committees, because in any case, we'd have to elect new members to them. In addition to that, it makes sense, given the direction we're going with hiring an executive director, that we would present him with a clean slate to establish his own agenda and path forward. So at this point, I think the logical thing to do is just disband these committees.
I would tend to agree. Is there any further discussion? Does anybody have anything that they'd like to put forth? In that case, we have a motion to disband those committees and a second. Vote from my left, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Witten, yes.
Unanimously passed. Item number 6. Discuss and take action on tabled motion to establish a mountain bike path on EDC-owned property north of the city park. The reason this was originally tabled was we were trying to get a little bit of research done. Holland, are we ready to discuss this, or do we probably need to table it again?
I think we should leave it tabled for now, Mr. President. I haven't quite got to concurrence between Mike Horton, the streets the head of streets for Gun Barrel City, and our ADA compliance expert, Marty Mullen.
Okay.
So it's going to take another month, and just to kind of preview where we are, it looks like this is doable without a lot of ADA requirements. We will need some parking at the trailhead, one ADA parking place, but
Okay.
so we're still working the details there.
That being said, I certainly just want to do this in the correct fashion and make sure that we are in compliance. So I'll make a motion to table the mountain bike path, preferably to our next meeting, and we should have all the research done.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Before we vote, I just
Sure.
wanted to ask, will you be providing like information ahead of the council meeting on what for those of us who are new to the board?
Yes, I will.
Background on it, just a background briefing on what it is and what the intentions are and all that.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
Disclosure, I'm an avid mountain bike guy, so.
Good.
This is
Great.
very
Well,
exciting.
just for the sake of the new members, what had happened was that Holland had come up with an idea of using raw land that we already own and cutting some bike trails in it. The question came up whether there was any ADA compliancy issues, and that became muddled, and we really couldn't vote on a dollar amount, not knowing if we were going to have to do additional work to make it ADA compliant. That's what Holland's working on now. So hopefully at our next meeting, we'll have that research done and be able to see what the additional costs may be.
Thank you.
And yes, we will get you information on it beforehand. Motion to table and seconded. If there's no other discussion from my left, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Witten, yes.
Item number 7, open the public hearing on Project Bronner, which we've already heard a little bit about. Essentially, this is the sale of the old City Hall property, Bronner Hall. If I'm not mistaken, it's a little less than an acre and a half of property. We've been back and forth trying to list this, sell it. The project's purchase price of the property is $150,000 to the roads. Fortunately for us, they would like to keep the existing building that's on the property, which we already had in our budget for $15,000 to demolish. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a net $165,000 purchase of the property. The public hearing is now open. Would anybody like to discuss it?
Travis Tarleton. I live on Tarleton Road up in Maybank. Talk about the property next door. It's wrote into the deed. Uncle intention give that to the city. Wrote into that deed. No longer a city hall or fire department. It has to go back to the heirs. It's been gone a long time. Wrote into the deed that I don't have to file a lawsuit. And why would the city sell it to the EDC for $300,000 and then turn around and take less money for it? Say,
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Charlton. The only thing that I can answer in that respect is is that when the city sold the property to the EDC, it was done in a legitimate title office, and there was a title search done and a title policy issued, and it listed no heirs to any Tarleton estate on that property at all. So at this point in time, if you think you have a legitimate claim to that property, my suggestion would be to seek legal counsel, because we do have a clear title to the project. The reason that the EDC bought the property in the first place was to assist the city government in building a new city hall, which we're sitting in today. That price was $300,000. With what's happened with real estate in the last, how long has this city hall been here, Jim? 12 years? 15 years? How many, Linda? This was in the midst of a pretty bad real estate market. And we've had it listed at higher prices that I know of several different times, and there's just been no interest. And the EDC is trying its best to divest itself of real estate holdings at this time. We weren't intended to be in the real estate business, don't want to be in the real estate business, and because of the project that the road's brought up, which entails bringing jobs, bringing new business, new buildings onto the main drag of Gun Barrel, we felt that it was advantageous to the city. That's about the best answer I can give you.
And if I may just add a couple of things to that, Mr. President. Mr. Tarleton, you mentioned this to me previously, and I went to the property records in Athens to research this, and I was unable to find anything that reflected what you've indicated. So, yeah, again, I agree with our president's advice. You know, if you believe you have a claim, you should seek legal advice. As far as the value of the property, if you look at it on the tax rolls, the land value is roughly $150K, and the improvements are roughly the same amount. And as you heard, we had slated the building for demolition, so $150K is a reasonable price for the property itself. We believe that's a fair price, and it's the best price that we've been able to get for the property. The third point I'd like to make is this is a shopping center for Gun Barrel City. This is great news, and it's going to be a very nice shopping center. So it's exciting to me to see this happen. So that's all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Rhodes, you had made your statement. Is there anything you'd like to add? I think you put it pretty clearly. No, that's perfectly okay.
Did fine.
It's understandable, believe me.
Back row.
Mr. Schiff, would you like to say something about this project?
value
Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Ms. Strickland? Good point. That is not part of the contract with Mr. Rhodes, but I can assure you that concern will be addressed with him.
I believe, Mr. President, the time capsule has been retrieved.
Oh, it has?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I believe Mike Horton
Good.
has that now. The time capsule has been retrieved from the building. I believe Mike Horton has it.
No problem. I'm just glad to see another happy customer.
It's a good point.
Speaking to Mr. Schiff's comments, I appreciate him lauding the business that may or may not go in there. At this point in time, that's not been made public by Mr. Rhodes or any other entity, so we'll leave that as it is. And speaking strictly for myself, Mr. Rhodes, I'm very, very thankful that at the end of our contract, we are not talking about a property being sold for nothing. Thank you very much. At this time, if there's nobody else that would like to speak about the Bronner Hall property, anybody on the board? At this time, then, I'd like to close the public hearing on Project Bronner. Item number 9 is to discuss or take action to approve Resolution R 2017-007 for the sale of Bronner Hall property to Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move we approve Resolution R 2017-007 for the sale of the Bronner Hall property to Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes.
Second.
If there's no more discussion amongst the board, I will call for a vote, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
I'm sorry.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Whitten, yes.
Sorry, Jim. I
problem.
threw you off there for a second, brother. The resolution itself has actually been published, and it is a matter of public record. The only thing, I'd like to just read the heading of it to save us all some time. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Gumbel City, Texas, authorizing the Gumbel City Economic Development Corporation, a Type B Economic Development Corporation, to convey an approximately 1.44 acre tract of land in the El Navarro Survey, abstract number 578, City of Gumbel City, Henderson County, Texas, as further described and or depicted in Exhibit A of this resolution, to Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes, and providing for an immediate effective date. Other than that heading, the real meat and potatoes of it is that the purchase price is $150,000, and we will await the City Council's approval of this resolution and subsequently be signed by Mayor Braswell and attested by City Secretary Dillard. Is there anything else anybody'd like to add? Item number 10, discuss or take action to approve Resolution R 2017-008 to amend the EDC 2017-2018 budget to include a $200,000 line item for an EDC loan to Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes. I'd need a motion and a second, and then we can discuss this.
I move we approve resolution number R 2017-008 to amend the EDC 2017-18 budget to include a $200,000 line item for an EDC loan to Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. As far as discussion goes, the only thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to make the public acutely aware of the fact that the Rhodes will purchase the property for $150,000 before this $200,000 low interest loan, not a grant, a loan, is even taken into account. Therefore, I want to assure the citizens of Gumbel City that this group that's buying that property and subsequently adding to our sales tax revenues and the beautification of our main street, they have some skin in the game. That's what I'm trying to convey to everybody.
Is the loan to them personally or to a corporate entity?
Mr. Rhodes?
It's to Charles and Jeremy Rhodes.
Is it an LLC or is it okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions concerning that loan? We have a motion and a second at this time. I'll take a vote from my left.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Whitten, yes.
Seems to be a pretty exciting project. Item number 11, discuss and take action to approve a resolution R 2017-009 for an EDC loan of $200,000 to Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes. This is us approving the actual loan and requesting a resolution. I'll take a motion.
I move we take action to approve resolution number R 2017-009 for an EDC loan of $200,000 to Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We've discussed this ad nauseum. Vote from my left, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Whitten, yes.
Unanimous once again. Once again, unfortunately, I'm going to have to read the heading of this resolution, and as before stated, the last resolution, it was a matter of public record, just like this is. But for the record, I'm going to read the heading. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Gumbel City, Texas, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gumbel City Economic Development Corporation and Charlie and Jeremy Rhodes to provide a loan in an amount not to exceed $200,000 for economic development purposes and providing for an immediate effective date. Certainly, if anybody has any questions about these, they are a matter of public record. You are also more than willing to forward your questions to the EDC office, and we'll do our best to answer them. Item number 12, discuss and take action to close the EDC Techstar account. I'm going to make a motion to take action to close the EDC Techstar account.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Holland?
This is an administrative thing, but I wanted the board to be aware of it. This is a very small account. It's about $3,500, and it's not doing anything for us. We're not contributing to it, so it makes sense just to terminate the account.
Sounds like the account is a PIA.
It is.
Understood. We have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, vote from my left, please.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Whitten, yes.
Item number 13, discuss and take action to approve a Boots to Business grant of $50,000 to Joshua A. Browning for Creek Boys Meat Market. Is Mr. Browning here?
Yes, he is.
If you would, take the podium just in case anybody has any questions. You don't have to make any effort unless some.
Yep, we can hear you just
That's
fine.
good.
Gotcha.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and this is the Boots to Business grant is probably one of the feel-good things that the EDC does. So I'm glad to see somebody apply for it. I'm going to make a motion to approve a Boots to Business grant of $50,000 to Joshua A. Browning for Creek Boys Meat Market.
Second.
Discussion. Unbeknownst to me, I spoke to one of you two partners about a year ago, and kind of seemed like went off track, and then next thing I know, you're back in the EDC office and got everything put together, and everything looks great. Y'all spoke to Holland, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yep.
Holland, other than the fact that we have a veteran wanting to open, if I'm not mistaken, it's a meat market, but it's also kind of a grocery store kind of atmosphere with prepared foods as well. And you intend to open it on Main Street in Gumbaro City someplace? Have you selected a site yet?
We have not, so we were planning on meeting with Jeremy Rose, I believe, to get possible lease, or the main thing with the food inspection, which is different from the construction inspection, is drains have to be in certain areas, so for certain restaurants, for the food inspector to come in, it has to be pretty much built to the specs that you need, and Gumbaro doesn't have a lot of locations.
Right. Well, certainly the grant won't be forwarded to you until you've found a location and have gotten to that point. Holland, refresh my memory. They have to provide how much of their own money?
It's a matching grant, so they have to provide at least that much, and they will provide more. They've submitted a business plan for their business.
Okay.
And Mr. Michael Ellsbury helped them develop that over at the SBDC.
Fantastic.
Too.
Fantastic.
And anything that's grocery related in Gun Barrel City has a lot of gets a lot of enthusiasm from our citizens. So I think it's a good thing for the city here.
I think I told Corey when he brought the idea to me, I said, I think you got a winner. You just got to get the numbers together and get it all put together. I'm glad you did. I think it'd be a great thing for Gun Barrel City, personally.
And
Does
the
any-
way the flow of it is that we'll give them a letter telling them that we have approved this grant to help them with getting other financing.
Sure.
And then the financing will come after they've selected a site, purchased it, and they're in the process of constructing their.
But it should help them in speaking with the bank.
Exactly.
Understood. Does any of the board have any questions for these gentlemen? At that point, we've got a motion to approve the grant and a second. I'll take votes from the left.
Osborne, yes.
Williams, yes.
Coleman, yes.
Ray, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Whitten, yes.
Congratulations, guys. I look forward to seeing y'all open.
Yep.
At that
Thanks.
point, I will turn to Keith's specialty. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Be it.